Hello and welcome to Top Rope Toys. I'm your host, Zach Romero. You know, one modern argument or complaint by a lot of fans is that everybody deserves a title run. Now, I'm not here to debate whether or not every person on a roster deserves a moment in the sun or not. However, I can state with no uncertainty that previous eras of wrestling did not feel the same way, and showcase that without apology. I'm of course referring to the long list of names of incredible wrestlers who never got to carry the big belt in WWE. Names like Roddy Piper, Ricky Steamboat, Jake the Snake Roberts, William Regal, Dusty Rhodes, and of course the subject of today's video, Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig. Curt Hennig started his career in the American Wrestling Associated as Cool Curt Hennig in 1980. Soon, though, he was bouncing between AWA and WWF up until 1988 when everything goddamn changed. In 1988, the world was reintroduced to Curt Hennig through a series of short videos showcasing his various sport talents and his new confidence, the new persona known as Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect stands out in WWE history as one of the greatest examples of pre-taped vignettes, doing the heavy lifting to build a wrestler's character. WWF had a stroke of genius with these videos, all showcasing basically the same idea. This guy was a cocky ass, then he did some unbelievable sports feat, and remarked how perfect it was.
Yes, I am perfect in every way.
At first you watch them and laugh at how obnoxious it is, but after you see a man throw a full football field touchdown pass to himself, holy shit, you have to appreciate it. And believe it or not, that level of skill, even as inflated as it was in the vignettes, carried into the ring. Curt Hennig was one of the absolute best in terms of wrestling abilities. He didn't need to have big flashy moves. He was one of the best technical wrestlers out there. The fact that he could easily give Bret Hart a run for his money speaks volumes. Even though he was a traditional heel, even though he was booed by crowds around the world, everyone took notice of how incredible he was in the ring. Now, as to why he was never handed the big gold in WWF, well, that was a time when they weren't really handing the big accolades out like candy, as well as the short-sightedness of WWF in general. The World Heavyweight title was mostly reserved for heavyweight wrestlers, so instead, Mr. Perfect brought prestige and greatness to the highest title he could, the Intercontinental Championship. Now, when it came to being immortalized in plastic, Curt Hennig had a lot of entries. The first ever of him was in 1985, through AWA, and came in a 2-pack with a VHS tape and a Steve Curran figure, so, you know, there's that. From there we had Hasbro's multiple color versions, the awkwardly puffy version from WCW in the 90s, as well as the multitude of Jakks Pacific versions in the 2000s. Now, my only real issue with the Jakks run is the blatant reuse of body types. I mean, their version of Hennig is jacked, like as if you inflated Mr. Perfect with 100 pounds of hot air. I get it, wrestlers are larger than life, but he wasn't the Ultimate Warrior for Christ's sakes. Anyway, when Mattel took a crack at capturing his perfect likeness, did you see what I did there? They molded a much more fit body type instead of being roided out. They also gave him the first Mattel Intercontinental title as an accessory. That's a pretty big damn deal. Not Honky Tonk Man's figure with the first version of the belt, Curt Hennig. So what else does this figure have that makes it so much better than the rest? Well, the smarmy expression, check. Classic teal attire, definitely. P insignia on the boots, yep. Towel accessory, it sure as hell does. Are you kidding me with this? Holy shit! That's genuinely amazing that he comes with his signature entrance pop. My only complaint is that he doesn't come with a little piece of pre-chewed up bubblegum to smack into the crowd. Like, that's unbelievable if they would include that. That's amazing! This figure is genuinely one of my favorites, and goes to show you what little details can really add to an overall piece. And it's no surprise that WWE would put in the extra effort in immortalizing Curt Hennig, because quite frankly, they realized after the fact that they missed the boat with Mr. Perfect. The 2002 Royal Rumble comeback, and not just cameo like other older wrestlers, like, he literally wrestled like he had never left the roster. The 2007 Hall of Fame entry way before other wrestlers of equal statistics, stature, and position in history. The push/employment of his son. The fact that they not only put him in WWE 2K14 as a manager, but also the fact that they turned around and put him as a fully playable character. Are you kidding me? And don't give me that bullshit that, oh, well, it's not that big a deal, or, oh, it's just a coincidence because they didn't do that with any other manager in the game. There's no fully playable Mr. Fuji to win the world title with, just Mr. Perfect. So, yeah, I think that's just about it in terms of discussing this amazing fig. So, with that, there's just one more thing I have to do. So, for Top Rope Toys, this is Zach Romero saying that the Mattel Kurt Hennig figure is perfect.